Was the second
What?
October?
Didn't I say second?
You said first.
I said it's October 2nd, but it's my first video about monsters and Halloween. Because yesterday wasn't about that. And to get started, I've consulted some of my books about monsters and Halloween related things. That was much louder than I wanted it to be. Today I'm going to talk about vampires again. So classically, vampires are romantic and have something to do with the speaking of our subconscious on sexuality and the human behavior, as well as other things such as viruses. The swapping of bodily fluids, of course, the taking of the blood. Originally, vampires were just dead bodies that escaped from their graves and came out to feast on human bodies. Human living bodies, which to me sounds a lot like a zombie. Because originally, vampires were basically zombies. If we think about the movie, which is based on the book, I Am Legend, that movie seemingly was about, and here I'm referencing the one with Will Smith, though the original was very much like it as well, but it seems to be about zombies, where actually, through the book, it is about vampires and the bodies that cannot go into the daylight. They are created from some kind of unknown virus and feed basically on humans. They change each other from bite, which is very similar to zombies. Zombies and vampires are the same, is all I'm saying here. Classically, vampires, even currently, create other vampires through bite. Mind you, sometimes there's some kind of ritualistic ceremony that has to take place involving either drinking their blood, or being buried with them, or other various things. Whereas zombies also have to be through bite, or exchanging of fluids, or being scratched or something, which are all still very similar to vampires, and somewhere in the lore is how vampires were made. Over the years, vampires became romanticized, which is why we have the classic romantic vampire now, which we all know from Anne Rice, or Buffy, or True Blood, or anything that has happened in the last 20, 30 years, which I believe dates back to the story of Carmilla, or of Dracula, depending on what you want to say. But old stories about vampires were just decaying bodies from the grave, which is exactly how we see zombies now. Mind you, with the popularity of zombies in the past few years, we are starting to romanticize zombies. See the movie Warm Bodies, which is also a book. With the romanticizing of zombies, we are also slowly crossing over the zombie and vampire thing again. Similarities to zombies and vampires are that they are kind of a overall fear of some kind of losing yourself. Because as a current consciousness we have zombies being the disgusting, skin-peely crowd mob of destruction, because this is part of our consciousness, we kind of see the crowd as the fear. When we look at the individual zombie, we don't really care, which I think is probably why vampires had to evolve. Because a single flesh-eating, skin-melty, creepy thing isn't necessarily a fear for us anymore. It's a thing that we can escape. The fear of the vampire is now more along the lines of fear of becoming something you're not ready to be, or you don't want to be, or isn't societally acceptable. Like, vampires are open to sexuality, not just the fact that they have sex, and not just the fact that the exchanging of fluids is symbolic for sex, but the fact that most vampires don't care about sexuality, sexual orientation, or gender. These are all things that we currently have problems with in our society. It's a topic that's always, I can see you. It's a topic that's always in the forefront of our mind. The uncontrolled id can be problematic for people. It's you doing what you want without thinking about others, which is not what we're taught to do, and it's not healthy and it's not helpful to anyone. So the individual zombie-like vampire is not fearful to us. We can control it. It's one. It doesn't have much power over us. Whereas the horde, the entirety of the mob of zombies, is horrifying. It's something we can't control. It's something that's after us, and it's something we can disappear into. When we look at a zombie movie, we don't, if we look at a zombie movie or show or literature or podcast or whatever, we don't see the zombies as individual zombies. We see them as a horde. We see them as a wall of vicious force coming at us. We always imagine ourselves as the survivor of the situation, the lone wolf, the leader of the group, the one that can help with whatever our specialty is. Because we want to be the person, we want to be the individual, we want to have the identity. Whereas when we become a zombie, we're not important anymore. We're just another brick in a already massive wall. Now that we are more romanticizing and glorifying zombies in a way, giving them more identity other than the entirety of the horde, now that zombies are being romanticized and becoming more popular in media, which they have been for a few years, let's be honest, but are becoming even more popular, they're starting to switch from being the wall, horde, terrifying force to individuals in a way, where in warm bodies they become human again through emotion and caring and remembering, basically, how to be human again. And in the podcast that I listened to, We're Alive, there's even different types of zombies that have different characteristics. So my theory is that the whole zombie thing is going to be ending soon, and we're going to move on to something else, and I'm hoping for werewolves, but who knows. Anyway, this is a brief synopsis of vampires and zombies being the same thing, and slowly becoming the same thing again. Anywho, I will see you tomorrow with more of something. Bye.